All right, Lucy, welcome to the Do the Work podcast for hopefully the first of many times. Today is going to be all about your journey leading to when you wanted to start your weight loss journey to where you are now, sat in here today, ready to finish off your qualification and get started PTing here. So let's start back right at the top. What was it that started you getting an interest into health and fitness, first of all? Like, where were you at in your life that made you think you needed to make a change?
I think the first time I kind of realised I needed to make a change was about 3 or 4 months after I'd had my second child. And just simple tasks started to become really hard. Just walking up the stairs, I'd be getting out of breath, or walking around the block would just make my knees hurt and my back hurt. So I thought it's time to do something about it before it gets worse. At the time I had a 5-year-old and then obviously like a 4-month-old baby. So they required a lot of attention and a lot of work. So I reached out to a local gym. And then, I just never looked back. But it was those things to begin with that made me realize I needed to make a change, really.
And was there any of those moments that were really like the gotta do it now kind of moment? Or was it a combination of kind of like those things together?
I think it was just multiple things, multiple factors in my life. Kind of when I was looking in a mirror as well, I just didn't feel like myself. My body had changed so much during pregnancy, and breastfeeding as well, and birth. I didn't really recognize myself. So that, along with kind of just daily tasks and feeling out of breath and feeling sluggish and no energy, and I just wanted to feel the best I could feel for myself and for my children, because I want to be around for as long as possible, and I wanted to be as healthy as possible so I could run around and play with them at the parks. So that's kind of really what motivated me to make a change. Also, I was getting married in 5 months' time. So I had from January to May to kind of get into a wedding dress. So that also was a bit of like an incentive to feel incredible on my wedding day as well. So as you can see, there was like a lot of combining factors around me. It wasn't just one thing, it was just multiple things.
Yeah. So then the journey as a whole, so how much weight did you lose? And
so I lost. So when I first started, we did pictures and measurements and everything, and I was weighing around 14 stone. And then kind of now I'm sitting at a happy kind of 8 stone 8. Actually kind of putting on a bit more weight at the moment just to build a bit more muscle. But so quite a lot of weight, really. I've kind of gone down the scale. I've kind of dropped all the way down towards more 8 stone 3, which I didn't feel my best self. I actually needed to put more weight on to feel good, strong and confident in my clothes. So a lot there.
so let's go back to when you first started. You realized you needed to make a change. What was the next step then to starting to make that change? What did you join a gym? Did you do it on your own? Tell us a little bit about that.
I literally just went on Facebook, had a look around what was around me, closer the better. And I found a gym where, they were doing a 6-week program. They promised kind of that community spirit, different types of exercises, HIIT classes, strength classes, and nutrition support as well. Because obviously, like with the nutrition side of things, I was completely out of the loop. I'd done Slimming World in the past, but it didn't give me any tools or anything to go from. I think I did it about 3 times in the past, but it didn't teach me anything about nutrition. It just made me look at food as a sin. So I needed that help with nutrition. Like, I didn't know anything about like my protein or, what carbs I should, just all those important things that make up, a healthy lifestyle and help you lose body fat. So I went along. I remember standing in a church hall with about 30 other women. I still remember it very vividly, actually. It was really good. The lady that runs the gym was on the stage and she was going through a few basics like squats, and I thought, I did about 3 squats and I thought, oh my goodness, what is this? I'm sore already. But I can do a lot more than that now, 3 years later. So And then I just haven't looked back. I found a passion for strength training. And I quite like running now as well. But I think lifting weights is definitely a passion of mine. It's how it makes you feel, like that delayed gratification down the line. Maybe not in the moment, but I think it just makes me feel incredible. So, yeah.
Okay, so there's quite a lot of information there. So tell me a little bit about when you first reached out to the gym that you went to work with. Did you immediately know you wanted to reach out? Was it quite a fearful thing to do? Because one of the things I am aware of when clients come to me is that they've probably thought about it for a really long time. So just tell me a little bit about your sort of thought processes from thinking about reaching out to reaching out and then walking into the gym for that first time.
I was actually walking around Tesco and I had a phone call because I'd set my interest online to the gym that I wanted to go to. And I was walking around Tesco and she rung me. And to be honest, if she hadn't have rung me at that moment and she hadn't have said, right, let's get you booked in straight away, like no turning back, I probably wouldn't have done it. I was on maternity leave. I was a bit skint. So, so that was kind of that push to do it. I paid for it. I had to do it then. It kind of scares me to think, I might have not done it. And then kind of I started a week later and I walked into the gym. I pulled up in the car park. I sat outside for a good 10 minutes, just feeling quite anxious and scared about what was to come. The idea of like moving my body I thought I was going to have to like do a 15 million burpees or it's just stuff I've never done before. Was I going to hurt myself? Was I going to make a tit out of myself, embarrass myself?
Yeah.
But when I got in there, everybody was in the same boat. Everybody had only just started. There was a couple of people who'd been there for a while, and I just felt at ease. I think the hardest part is definitely reaching out, finding the place you want to go, and getting there in the car or however you're going to get there, and just walking through the door. But you're not going to regret it. What you're going to regret is if you don't go, if you don't do the things that you told yourself you're going to do, then you're going to regret it. Because the advantages definitely outweigh the disadvantages, don't they? So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely, you've got the pain of staying the same or you've got the pain of making a change.
Yeah, it's going to hurt either way. Like, either way, it's going to be hard work. So you've got to choose your heart. You've got to choose which difficult you're going to go down. So for me, it was I either stay overweight, feeling terrible in myself and not being the role model I wanted to be, or I could just suck it up and walk through that door for the first time and just see how it goes. And I took that risk and it's definitely paid off. So I thank myself like every day that I did what I said I was going to do.
Yeah. And I think there's an interesting point that you said there about like the time in which that they contacted you. So that's kudos to them for doing that, because when people inquire sometimes with me, you sort of reach out to them and we're always told to reach out to when we're learning how to do this, right?
Yeah.
You need to reach out to that person who's shown interest as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Now, partly that's, of course, so that, we can secure the client, but ultimately we want to help that client.
Yeah.
And the longer the time goes on from the inquiry to that first point of contact, the more the likelihood of that person taking action reduces.
Yeah.
So I suppose that was in your benefit that actually you did take action quickly, because what I tend to find happens is life just happens. Things get in the way, kids, all that stuff. And all the reasons not to do it start to come in as well. So, okay, right. So we've made the step. We've got into the gym.
Yeah.
The first session was a little bit nerve-wracking and all that sort of stuff. Then we get into the flow, start getting some results. So what changes are you noticing both physically and kind of psychologically at this point?
So physically, I just noticed obviously that my clothes would fit better. My walking up the stairs wasn't as hard or challenging. Lifting my little girl was just a breeze. Just everything in my day-to-day life just become so much easier. Stuff like, when you put a towel around you, I couldn't get a towel around me, so it wouldn't fit around me. And then my towel started to fit around me. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like my towel fits me. I don't have that problem anymore, but that was a real big issue. And every morning when I get out of the shower and I put that towel around me, it makes me remember that this towel didn't used to fit me, and it's just like a buzz every morning.
I've never heard it like someone share that as an example, actually.
It's a really good one, because obviously when you've got more body fat on yourself, like getting a towel around you is hard work. There's a gap in the middle, but yeah, towels and dressing gowns, stuff like that, or doing your coat up, you could actually get it up. So that physically, there obviously loads and loads of different things, and I just felt better in my skin and confident in my clothes. Mentally, I just felt confident, more self-esteem. I felt like I looked better, so I felt emotionally better. Um, yeah, so and stuff, just little things like my children were noticing as well. Not just my energy and running around the park, but that I was happier. I was just happier with everything. So yeah.
And what was different about doing it this way than doing it at the times that you tried before? So you mentioned Slimming World, for example, was one of the strategies that you had and it didn't work for you. So
Yeah.
what was different about doing it this way? And I suppose go into a little bit of the detail of what did you do and how did you do it? What were the kind of like basic principles that you worked off?
Well, like I said, I'd done Slimming World a few times after my first child, and you'd pay your £5, you'd get weighed in front of everybody, and then you feel crap because you hadn't lost weight. I wasn't exercising alongside it. For me, I feel like exercise has been the game changer, because it gave me accountability for my food. If I'm going to the gym, I do not want to go home and eat a pizza and a bottle of wine. Not that there's anything wrong with those in moderation, but it kind of worked hand in hand together. I didn't want to undo all that hard work that I put in the gym a few hours before. For me, that's it. That's the answer for me. Yeah, I didn't want to feel ashamed for not losing weight, when we do know now that measurements and recording your inches, and there's so much more to it than just the scales. And that's where I think things like something will go wrong, because your water, your hormones, they all fluctuate. So to feel ashamed that you've not lost weight on a scale, it's really disheartening, and it can mess with your mind. So you start thinking, I've not done well, I'm not doing it. So yeah, exercise, and eating properly and the right support around you is absolutely crucial.
100% agree. Just having multiple variables in which you're making progress, linked with obviously the progress that you're making in the gym, which we'll get onto down the line with like what you're focusing on now.
Yeah.
In terms of for someone who might be a little bit still in the dark, like obviously
Yeah.
just eating a little bit better, exercising and stuff. What did that look like? How many times did you exercise? What was eating better for
Yeah.
you? Was it tracking calories? Was it like what sort of methodology did you
Yeah.
use?
So for me, I started small, because throwing myself into the deep end wasn't going to make sustainable long-term changes. So I did 2 to 3 sessions a week, focusing on, maybe one HIIT session and then 2 full body strength sessions. Sometimes I'd do a little bit extra because I felt good that week and I did a bit extra, but I always just made sure I got, 2 to 3 minimum sessions in. Nutrition, I track my calories, so I had my calories set for me. I had to be mindful as well, so I never dropped below 1,800 because I was breastfeeding. And obviously, you're supposed to eat like slight sort of maintenance for when you're breastfeeding. So, but that was good. That was good for me. I never had to go super low, and I would track using an app. I just put my food in there the night before, so it kept me accountable. So I put what I was going to have for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. But I never removed the foods I loved. And people always look at me a bit silly when I say you don't have to get rid of everything. You just have to have everything in moderation. I'd still have my wine. I'd still have my pizza. I'd just make it a bit differently. I'd make my own dough, or I'd get like a dough that's pre-packeted and then put the sauce on. Or just making simple swaps, and just still enjoying food and life, because it can get a little bit stale and boring if you're not enjoying the things that you love. So yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I think a lot of people see, they look at PTs or they look at like the perfect diet that you have to follow as completely clean and
Yeah.
nothing inherently, in inverted commas, bad in there.
Yeah.
Whereas that's not the case, and you need to find a way to keep the things that you enjoy in your diet as you did, but maybe make some swaps and perhaps have them less frequently and all of that. So it's good that you found that balance to be able to still have that stuff, because ultimately it just results in you then having a binge on all the stuff that you want when you completely remove it, doesn't it? So
it does.
okay, so tell me a little bit about then the exercise journey. So you started out, you were worried about doing loads of burpees in your
Yeah,
first
I was.
session. You did a squat,
Yeah.
and you did some other stuff and stuff from there. So how did that progress and develop? Did you initially as well have a certain view of exercise where maybe you didn't like it, or did you like it before? And then where's that led you to now?
I hated it. I hated exercise. The thought of going into a gym and like getting sweaty didn't appeal to me at all. I'd never done it. I avoided PE classes. You know, I was the classic giving a note in. My mum would write me a note, or I'd write it myself, you know. But I'd avoid it at all costs. So, but I knew to make changes in my lifestyle, I needed movement. I needed to get up, move my body more to feel better. So I remember the first class I did actually. It was like a hit step class, and I nearly vomited. It was horrendous. And I remember watching the girl next to me thinking, oh my goodness, she is flying. She's amazing. She looks incredible. How is she doing that with her body? And not for a minute did I think I'd be able to do it, especially because I was feeling really sick and I left crying. But I didn't give up. I kept coming back, and then I just tried different things out. And I tried a strength class one day, and it just changed everything. I realized it didn't have to get super sweaty and uncomfortable, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the buzz after it. It made me feel good, and watching those weights go up every week, it just made me feel strong and quite unstoppable. So that's what drove me, was just feeling strong. And that's what still drives me now, to be honest.
Yeah, so you found a way to start enjoying exercise because
Yeah.
you were recognizing progress and all that stuff. And that's what I find when clients come to me as well. Initially, they're like, oh, I'm going to get sweaty. I can't do it. Just like you said, there's someone else that's fitter than me. And that's perhaps what stops them from going and stuff. But it's just remembering that your starting point is your starting point, and then measuring and tracking progress, not just on the scales, but in the gym as well, is a way that you can start to, if not fall in love with exercise, at least fall in love with what it gives you and the fact that you can come back and make progress week on week. So that's really, really good.
Definitely.
So how long did it take you? What was the time frame from, starting to losing the weight that you sort of capped it at and said, okay?
It's a journey, isn't it? And I think your goalposts change. The fitter you get, the more you want. But in terms of fat loss, it took me about 8-9 months to maybe lose the fat. But then I had to start kind of building on that kind of foundation almost, because I'd got rid of the fat, but then I needed to build more muscles. So I had to kind of gain a bit more to do that, because you can't get something from nothing, can you? So I had to build with that one. So yeah, about 7-8 months. 8 months, yeah. But it was a journey, because weight fluctuates, lifestyle and kind of events happen. So it's just ongoing, really. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's quick. That's quick. You lost quite a lot of weight.
Well, yeah, I did. But I didn't do anything drastic.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do anything. I didn't starve myself. I didn't binge. I didn't have any of that. I just had a very kind of I developed a healthy relationship with my body and with food. And it showed. So it worked for me.
So what would you say to someone who was in or is in the same situation as what you was before you started, who thinks that they are too far gone, they don't belong in a gym, they've put it off for X amount of time and they've failed before, perhaps like you did a few times at Slimming World? What might you say to that person?
I'd say that the person that you look up to and you think, wow, they're fit, they look good, they've most likely started exactly where you are. You don't get the results you want from doing nothing. And the first step is just walking through the door and reaching out, because like I said before, if you don't, nothing changes. It is scary and it's hard, but everything in life that's worth having is scary and is hard. So that would, if I was to talk to myself, my past self, that's what I would say to her is you can do it. And you've got all the tools in you to do it. And it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be so worth it. If I could show myself what I am now, everything kind of like how I am with my children, my health, my fitness, I don't think she'd believe me, but she'd probably run to that gym faster.
And what if that person listened to everything that you said then, which I agree with, and then said, but I'm just too busy?
We all are. We're all busy. We're all busy. We've all got kids. We've all got jobs, marriages and friends and events. But for the things that matter the most, like our health, we make the time. We have to make the time. And that doesn't mean getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to get to the gym. You can do things at home. You know, the amount of times I've done workouts at home because I can't get to the gym. I adapt. You make changes. You know, I've worked out in the garden with 2 5-kilogram dumbbells and I've just slowed it down to make it harder, or I've researched tips on how to make the weights more challenging because I haven't got the right weights at home, or go out for a walk, or there's things that you can do around having a busy life. We are all busy. We all are busy.
And do you think that you could have achieved what you did on your own?
No. Support is absolutely 100% crucial. Support at home for me was brilliant. My husband supported me to no end because he knew that I wanted to feel better in my skin. But also the environment that I was going to, it needed to be friendly. It needed to be welcoming. I wanted somewhere where I wanted to go. I didn't want to have to feel like a chore. And that's what I found. I found somewhere that welcomed me with open arms. And they were the biggest kind of support network, really. So, yeah. Definitely.
Because I think a big part of it is people maybe sometimes think they need to get a little bit fitter before they maybe approach working with a PT, because again, they don't want to stand out as the person who's unfit or what have you.
Yeah.
That's something I've heard quite a lot. And then I suppose the other piece of it is the investment side, like the money side of it is a consideration for people. But one thing I find, I don't know if you found this yourself or what have you with regards to your own eating habits, but a lot of clients come to me or new clients and they're like, do you know what? I was a bit worried about how much this was going to cost me, Dale. But actually, when I start cutting back on like takeaways and drinking or whatever it might be, I've more than paid for it by just making them sort of lifestyle changes that I sort of needed to make anyway. And it tends to pay for itself. Did you find that, or how did you go about getting over the investment part of it?
Just to go back on that other point though, because you've just kind of reminded me of, you know, when you said about feeling like you had to be fitter to kind of go. I don't think that ever changes, because I'm in a position at the moment where I want to join a run club that's just local to me. And I'm a bit nervous. I'm scared because I'm thinking, oh, what if I'm not as fast as those? What if I can't keep up? And we all have those same worries and fears, no matter what stage you're at. Like, am I good enough? Can I do it? Can I keep up with everybody? So I'm going to take that today, and I'm going to go to this run club this week, even though I'm terrified. In terms of investment, it is an investment, but you'd easily spend what, 100 and something pound on like new clothes, you know, eyelashes and stuff to go on a night out. And that could be spent on like a month's worth of getting into the gym and starting your exercise journey. So is it a big investment? Not really. Not in terms of your health and your kind of well-being. We pay a lot more for things like nights out and alcohol or takeaways and stuff. So at the time, it does feel like, oh gosh, this is a lot. But the rewards that you reap from showing up for yourself outweigh instant gratification.
I agree. I think that a lot of the ways that people think about this is that they see it as one transaction that, say, comes out every month or initially for a 6-week program or whatever it might be. But they see it as a big one-off cost. And what they don't see when they scan the contactless or the Google Pay or Apple Pay or whatever every time, the 15 quid here, the 20 quid there, they don't see that. And at the end of the month, they just realize that they're down to zero again. They've got no money left at the end of the month, which is most people, right? Just Eat now, you just click one button and you can reorder the same thing that you ordered last time. And you don't really notice it going out of your account. Whereas however much you might pay for your coaching, like you say, £100, £200, whatever it is, you feel it a little bit more because it goes out in one go. And I think people think about it a lot in that way. They just don't notice the little bits that they're sort of spending the money on. They don't really audit the finances, and then they sort of see that as like something they can't afford. When again, if they was to cut back on the things that they probably need to make lifestyle changes on, maybe not completely, but maybe a little bit, maybe going from having 2 takeaways a week to 1 every other week, or, whatever. It can definitely at least contribute to making you feel healthier, and also potentially being that investment into your health. So you've been on this journey, Lucy, now, and back in March, April time, we initially spoke, and you made the decision to do our PT course, which sort of starts now the process of bringing us to where we're at today. So you've been on that journey yourself. What was it that made you then want to become a PT?
Mainly just my own journey, and just having a passion for fitness, and I just thought I'd have something to offer. Thought I'd be able to, help other people who want to make a change and who want to get started. Well, I did my level 2 a few years prior, and I'd been looking for a while at local courses. So when I came across you guys, I thought I'd reach out. I think I initially reached out for the previous course, but my message got lost, I think.
It went into when your messages go into the weird little general request box or whatever. And I was like, oh shit, I'm really good at getting back to people normally, and what have you. And then I think I even messaged you or give you a ring or something. So yes, you came on board for the May course.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I was quite nervous, and just like anything new, isn't it? It's a bit scary, but it's been really good. I've really enjoyed it. I've learned a lot, and it's just given me the tools just to be able to help other people now.
Yeah. So you've been on the course, and you're very, very close at this we speak now, to finishing it off and getting your certificates and stuff like that. And then, as a result, for anyone who doesn't already know that's listening to this, you're going to be working from here at DoTheWork HQ imminently in the next few weeks, hopefully, from where we are now. So what are you looking to do with regards to that? Who are you looking to help? What's your focus for the next few months?
I think anybody who wants to get started, or who's been on a fitness journey for a little while and just needs some navigation and some support, I think my kind of skills would be definitely tailored towards kind of women who want to get back into fitness, who've just had children, or they're struggling with time and they're busy. I think I'd have the right tools and the skills to help those people, but anybody really that needs some guidance and some support. I've got quite a lot of skills around helping people lose weight, if that's what their goals are, and building muscle. So I think I'd have,
100%. I mean, I'm looking forward to getting both yourself and then Kirsty on board very, very soon. It was always my goal when moving here to be able to help more and more people. You're limited on the gym floor at a pure gym or what have you. So it's great to be able to do that both via myself and then bringing you guys in that ultimately fit the mold of what DoTheWork is all about. So as I say, I'm looking forward to you building up your own client base and obviously jumping in and helping out with the guys that come to the sessions already and stuff like that. So where do you see yourself then beyond the first few months? You want to start working with clients and stuff like that? What sort of things do you want to do in maybe 1, 2, 3 years? Have you thought about that?
I think obviously be up and running and established and secure, and have a growing kind of client base. I'd love to be able to be running multiple groups. I'd love to work with different populations as well, maybe older people, people with disabilities, and just really expand out there, really. But that would be really, really good. Yeah, that's
Amazing.
where I see myself in a few years, is doing kind of bits of everything. And because obviously my background before becoming a PT, I was a social worker. So I'd love to bring some of that in as well, in terms of working with a variety of different populations.
Yeah, I think it was funny. I was watching I've been watching it over the last few nights. The Freddie Flintoff program, cricket program. Don't know if you've watched it,
No.
but it's all about him. He started a team in Preston, did 2 series there, and then he has started in the most recent series a team in Blackpool, girls team, a team in Manchester, and a team in Liverpool. And it was all about bringing people into cricket that may never have had the opportunity to have done that before, and just bringing them into a new environment, becoming a team, having some feelings of success and all of that stuff. So I think there's definitely an opening and a market for that.
Yeah.
And that'll be very rewarding for you based on your background as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely more like, what drives me is definitely helping people. I've learned a lot about myself. I'm not very kind of like money driven or business driven, but I'm very kind of goal driven. So I like to see people reaching their goals, and that makes me feel satisfied and happy. And then that's all I need. Obviously, you need to get paid for the job as well, but it does make me feel good, and that's what drives me is helping other people. Hence why I became a social worker and ultimately a personal trainer, because they both, in that sense, help other people.
Yeah, which is evident, by the way, and that's why you're here and
Yeah.
why you're going to be starting here, because I can see that in you, and I can see how you're going to be able to then go on and help other people. I think, not to get too far down the PT route, because the guys listening here will be mainly people who are interested in making their health and fitness better. But a lot of PTs come in with the sole sort of motivation of money, and it's great to be driven by money, and having some element of that definitely helps.
Yeah.
But you definitely need to have that drive of actually wanting to help people,
Yeah.
of which you've clearly got. So
Yeah.
as I say, I'm looking forward to helping you and supporting you and seeing you thrive here as the weeks and months go on.
Yeah.
So Lucy, thanks very much for coming on
Thank
today.
you.
Have you got any final thoughts or final words for anyone who is in your situation right now?
I think just reiterating what I've already said is that it is hard to kind of reach out, but it's so worth it. And we're here to help, answer any questions, and just reach out if you need anything.
Absolutely. So if anyone is listening in and wants to give Lucy a follow, we'll put all Lucy's details in the comments below this video. And obviously, if there's any questions or anything like that come as a result, feel free to give us a shout. But Lucy, thanks very much for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning in for today's episode. I hope you found that useful and valuable. If you'd like to hear more from us, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next episode.